Honey friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, we're going to be making the Christmas gift pot holder or hot pad. Now, I made this to go along with our Christmas gift coasters, or you can use it for a gift tag or place setting. And so I had a lot of people say, oh, you didn't make a hot pad. I already had one in mind. I just did the coaster first. I did have this all ready to go. And one of the things that a lot of people ask me is, what's the difference between a hot pad and a pot holder and oven mitts and those kinds of things? And one thing I do want to tell you is that a hot pad can be used as a trivet or pot holder. The main thing is using the proper yarns and making sure that it's double thick so you don't burn your hands. All right, and we'll be talking more about that as we get along in our video, but I will tell you that I almost always use cotton yarns for my pot holders and hot pads or trivets unless it's going to be decorative, and this can be decorative. You can make these and set these around. Maybe if you're having a small dessert get together, we're going to just eat pie or desserts, you're using smaller plates, it make a nice little placemat or place holder. And you can always, like I did on the gift, print off some tags like this. Make sure you print them on sticky paper like what we make our labels on. And you could always put their name on it, you know, and put that sticker on there and have place settings. You know, maybe you're having a little get together for your daughter or your son and you're going to have treats. You can make them each a little placemat like this. So it has lots of uses. All right. Now, the pot holder or hot pad we're making today measures approximately 7 inches wide and is about 8 inches tall. That's not counting the fun little bow we're going to add on top. All right, and so they do have lots of fun uses. Okay, now you can find the complete pattern for the pot holder or hot pad gift, Christmas gift, on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. If you would like the pattern or the video for the coaster, you can find that on my YouTube channel as well. Just look in the Christmas playlist. All right, so let's talk yarns one more time. For a hot pad or pot holder, trivet, or oven mitt, it's real important that you use a yarn that is not going to burn or burn your hands. You can use 100% wool for this. Just keep in mind that you're going to need to make it bigger because wool felts when you wash it. It shrinks in. And it does make a nice dense fabric for a pot holder or hot pad. But I really prefer for something that you're going to set something hot on or pick up something hot with, that you use 100% cotton yarn. This is Peaches and Cream that I've had. It's a deep green I'm going to use today for the ribbon and for the trim. And then this is Crafter's Secret. That's a Hobby Lobby brand. This color is called Christmas Print. And this is what we're going to be using for the printed sections. Now you're going to need about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of your main color, and then about 1 ounce of your trim color. All right, now again, sometimes people say I say too much yarn, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. All right, and then you can always use your leftovers for lots of other fun things. All right, but you'll need 2 colors, and I'm using a variegated for this section because I want it to look like Christmas wrapping paper. Now this print is some that I had on hand, and this is just your basic red, probably the same as this, Peaches and Cream. And this variegated, I believe, is the Hobby Lobby cotton I love this cotton, but I don't remember the name of it because it was just on a ball that I had left over. But the truth is, you don't have to use red and green. You can use blue and white. And you know what else? If you're having a birthday party and you want to send home something fun, you can always make these for your decorations. Pink and yellow, purple and pink, green and blue, whatever colors that you want to. And like I said, I'm using it as a Christmas gift, but it can be used for any time that you want to give a gift. All right, so I've got my variegated here that I'm going to start with, my main color. We're going to start with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 26 chains. And we want this first 26 chains to be just a little bit loose. This is going to be the side of our hot pad, and we don't want it to be puckered up at all. All right, so we're going to chain 26 chains just a little bit loose. So we have chained 26 chains just a little bit loose. And now we're going to place a double crochet in the fourth chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. We never count that loop that's already on our hook. All right, and so now we're just going to place one double crochet in each of our chains, working all the way across. One double crochet in each of our chains, working all the way across our row. We began in the fourth chain from the hook, and remember this chain 3 that we skipped counts as our first double crochet, and then we double crocheted in each stitch across, so we have 24 double crochets. We're going to chain 3. We're going to turn our work. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so we'll start in the next double crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets across. All right, so we're going to continue stitching 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets across. And remember, that chain 3 counted as your first, and then we started in the next, and then 1 in each, all the way across. We began in the second double crochet because our chain 3 counted as our first, and stitched 1 double crochet in each stitch across, so we have 24 double crochets. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work, and now we're going to repeat row 2 for 3 more rows. So we're just going to stitch 3 more rows of double crochets, just like we did on row 2. Our chain 3 counts as our first, we start in the next, and double crochet in each of our double crochets across. We'll chain 3 and repeat. All right, so we're repeating row 2 for 3 more rows. I have completed those 3 additional rows, so we have 5 rows with 24 double crochets on each one. And at the end of our 5th row, we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to bring in our ribbon color. And I'm using this deep green. We're going to leave our color 1 attached. All right. I'm going to hold those with my finger, bring this down, and chain 3. All right, now we're going to leave our color 1 attached because we're going to do 2 rows with our green, and then we'll bring back in our color 1. Or whatever color you're using for your green is your color 2. All right, so we're just going to turn this, Move those out of the way. Again, our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet in each double crochet across, just like we've been doing. And we're going to do this for 2 rows. Exactly the same. We're just stitching with our color 2 to make that ribbon stripe down the front of our hot pad or pot holder. One double crochet in each, all the way down. We're going to chain 3 and turn and come all the way back up so that we have 2 rows of our green. And just keep your color 1 out of the way. And this is called carrying your yarn, when you don't cut it and bring it back in. And a lot of times I will cut it, but for a project like this where we're just going to be skipping 2 rows and then bring it back in, I'll just carry it. And then when we put the trim on, we put the 2 pieces together, we'll just stitch right over that. All right? But if you are more comfortable cutting it, you certainly can. You need to do what works best for you. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to stitch my 2 rows of double crochet in my ribbon color. I have completed those 2 rows using my ribbon color. Color 2 is this dark green. And so now we're going to cut the dark green off. And we'll be using that for the trim and the ribbon at the end. All right. Now we're going to bring back in our color 1. And make sure that you don't let that droop, but also don't let it pull or it'll pucker up on you. All right. And then we'll chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat what we did here. We're going to stitch 5 rows of 1 double crochet in each. So our chain 3 counts as our first, so we go in the next. And we stitch 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets across, just like we've been doing. But now we're just doing our color 1 again. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat 5 rows of 1 double crochet in each, just like we did on this side, so they're even. So we'll repeat 1 double crochet in each, chain 3, turn, and repeat for 5 more rows. This is a nice, easy hot pad that turns into a beautiful hot pad or pot holder. Alrighty, so I'm just going to work on those 5 rows. And remember, when I have you repeat rows, you can always pause the video and do the work that we're doing and then come back and unpause it. Alright? Because I don't think you want to sit there and watch me stitch 5 rows of double crochet. I think that might get just a little bit boring. All right, so just to repeat, we're going to stitch those 5 rows of 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets across, chain 3, and repeat. So that we have 5 rows on this side, just like we do over here. I have now completed those 5 additional rows, and let's take it and turn it this way because this is the way that our hot pad pot holder will sit. We have our 5 rows of color 1, our 2 rows of color 2, and then 5 rows of our color 1 again. So now I'm going to cut off my color 1. All right. And I'm going to take a few minutes and weave in all these ends. But I need to have 2. So here's my other one. So I have 2 that are alike. 5 rows, 2 rows, 5 rows, 5 rows, 2 rows, 5 rows that are alike because we need a front and a back so it's nice and thick and we don't burn our surfaces or our hands. And I'm going to take a few minutes and weave all my ends in, and then I'll show you how to put them together. So I have weaved in all my ends, and it's up to you which side is your front or your back. Because we went back and forth with our rows, they should look the same on both sides. What I did is I weaved all my ends into the inside so that that would be on the inside where I weaved my ends in. And then we'll put the 2 together because you want the right sides facing out. And just look at them, which ones are the neatest. You know, it's totally up to you. Make sure everything lines up nicely. All right. And normally when we stitch 2 pieces together, we'll start at a corner. But because we want to end where we're going to add that bow, we're going to start right next to that last stitch. All right. Now, when we're stitching, because we're basically stitching on the side of our work here, let me go through that stitch there. Because remember, we stitched in rows this way, and now we're turning it because this is the top of our work. All right. And so you want to grab your yarn, and we're going to evenly single crochet to the side and do our first corner. Now, you want to make sure that you're stitching in the sides of the stitches as much as possible, and some of those might be tight like that. And there's not a set amount of stitches you need to have. That one's really tight. There we go. You just want to make sure that it's even, it looks pretty, the stitches aren't too bunched up, and they aren't too far apart. You want them to lay nice and pretty. And again, we're starting here because we're going to go all the way around our hot pad and then come up here, and as we're stitching the ribbon to the top, we'll be stitching those together. Okay? So I'm almost to this corner, and again, there's not a set amount of stitches you need. You just need to make it look pretty. And if you want to count how many stitches you put on this side, and make sure you do that same amount on this side so that it looks even, that is a good idea. Okay? So I'm at my corner. I'm going to stitch a single crochet, a chain 1, and then go right back in that same spot and stitch a single crochet. That'll get you around that corner nice and neatly. Now coming down the side is going to be relatively easy because these are those stitches where we started, and we'll just put 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. All right, so I'm just going to work down the side till I reach that next corner. And remember, if you're just going to use this as a decoration and you're not going to put hot things on it, maybe you're just going to use it as a doily and put just a bowl of candy on it, then you just need to do 1 thickness. But if you're going to put something hot on it, or you're going to hold it in your hands and hold a pot like a pot handle, you need to make it 2 thicknesses because you don't want to burn your surface, because if you have a wood table or even your laminate countertop, it could really mess that up if it gets burnt. And the same thing with your hands. You do not want to burn your hands. All right, so I'm just going to continue working to the corner. So I stitched down that side. I'm at the corner. So again, I've stitched one stitch. I'm going to chain one and stitch a single crochet right in that same spot. And again, that's just going to get it around the corner nice and neatly. Now make sure you keep your ribbon lined up. And now we're just going to go across, single crocheting evenly across, making sure you try to go in those stitches. And this is the sides of the stitches and not all those big gaping holes, because you don't want big gaping holes to show on your hot pad. And some of those might be snug, like that one. Alright, so I'm just going to continue and stitch all the way across here. Then I'm going to stitch all the way back up here. And then we can do the top and add that bow. So we started over here. We stitched across. We did single crochet, chain one, single crochet. We stitched down the side, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. We stitched across the bottom, same thing here, back up, and then over to where our ribbon stripe starts, because now we're going to add the ribbon. I do want to bring the camera in just a little bit closer so you can see how I did that ribbon. But again, we're stitching two together, and if you're just making one layer for decoration, you still do this part the same. You just aren't stitching through both layers. But I highly recommend, like I said, if you're using this for anything hot, make two, put them together like I did. Alright, so I've got my camera brought in close so you can see. You want to make sure that you've single crocheted right up to that row. And now we're going to go in that green, or that color 2. There we go. And this is the end where I carried my yarn. And so I'm going around that. We're going to slip stitch that instead of single crochet and chain 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now we're going to go across again in the top here. Go across the back. Come through and slip stitch. There we go. And now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now again, we're doing slip stitches, not single crochets. All right, so now we're going to go in, go through, pull it back up. There's my slip stitch, my first 2 loops. And it's going to be crowded in here, okay? Now I'm going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you want to make sure you go in here and you're right in the center for this one. And again, that's a slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see that one was taller. This one's shorter again. And we're going to go right next to that. We're going through both thicknesses. Slip stitch, and make sure you pull that down so it stays snug. And then almost grabbed the wrong string there. There we go. Got our, whoops, pulled my slip stitch out. We'll try that again. We do not want to lose that. There we go. All right. Going through both thicknesses of our hot pad. Slip stitch. And now we'll chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to go right there next to it. And this all should be in that green portion so that our bow is sitting in the green. All right, and now we're going to just join to that first single crochet. And we'll tie that off. Oops. Got a little stringy there. I'm just going to pull that back. We'll weave that in a second, but I want you to see that bow. Okay. So we went 5 chains, 6 chains, 7 chains, 6 chains, and 5. Now, if you want your bow to be taller, you can certainly do taller chains. All right, so now I'm going to turn this over, and we've got our 2 ends here that I need to weave in. And that's it. One thing you'll notice is I did not do a hanging hanger for it to hang up with. You can add that. It's really simple. Just join to one of the corners and chain, and then join back. I just didn't want to because I don't really hang mine up. And if I wanted to, I could probably hang it up by the bow. Okay, I'm just going to pull those back there. All weaved in. And of course, this is the back, and it's still just as pretty on the back as it is on the front. But really, if you wanted to hang it up, you could hang it up by that middle loop of your ribbon, or you could just add a chain loop on one of the corners. That's totally up to you. So here is my gift hot pad, double thickness, so it's nice and comfy, and I won't burn my hands on a pot, or setting something on my surface won't get burnt because it's double thick. And then here is the red one, and I love them both. They're very beautiful. And remember, you don't have to use variegated yarns. You don't have to even use Christmas colors. I just did these for Christmas because I'm going to use them to decorate with. Now, remember also, you don't have to do these for Christmas. They're great for birthday parties and anytime you want to give someone a gift. And lastly, remember, if you're just doing these for decorations, you can do them one thickness, or you can use other yarns. Okay, just keep in mind, if you're going to use these to put something on your surface that you want to protect that's hot, or using them to pull a pan out of the oven, use 100% cotton yarns to protect your hands and your surfaces. Now, make some and have some fun.